you've seen a lot of the things that say 60 votes, 60 votes, 60 votes. And right now, knowing that it'll come back potentially, it could be okay. But we'll see. But right now, the language caps membership of conferences at 19 schools. Nobody has that yet. Big Ten's at 18. SEC is at 16. ACC is at 16 and a half.
Well, doesn't this make...
And if you're wondering what I mean, Notre Dame, everything but football in the ACC. Big 12 has 16.
Well, I mean, and we know why it's being done, but if you're some of these ACC schools who can't wait to get the heck out of the ACC, you're not very happy over that provision, correct?
No, and again, the second part of that, in terms of realignment potentially, is there's a clause in here now that mandates a 5-year period of independence as an institution before you could join a new conference. So just to keep it here in the state of South Carolina, if Clemson, even if, and they don't, and they may never, but even if Clemson had an ability to go to the Southeastern Conference. If the SEC had said, sure, in 5 years, we'll take you. You got to wait 5 years. Can you afford that when you're not getting any money from the ACC? You're not getting any money from the SEC. You'll have to go out on your own and schedule everything. Yeah. All right? And that's not just your football season. You got to schedule everything.
Everything.
And it's easier... to do it inside the confines of a conference. That's part of the beauty of a conference, is that a lot of the scheduling is done for you. And I don't just mean that like somebody's going, hey, you're going to play, Big State U on April 4th. No, I don't mean that. It's just you got built-in opponents.
Yeah, you
don't have to worry about negotiating with them to like, can we come to your place? Come to our place, 2 for 1. What are you doing on Saturday? No, we can do it on Friday. Like, none of that.
Remember when BYU went independent for a little bit? Before they got to the Big 12, that was a lot of that conversation was, man, we didn't realize all this stuff we got to do because we schedule everything ourselves, full season, all of our teams.
Yeah. And again, Notre Dame doesn't do that. Notre Dame doesn't have a problem scheduling its football team.
No.
So that's okay.
Easy.
Yeah. Everything else is done.
Handle everything else.
Yeah. Other than they're in Hockey East, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So okay, and they also done for you.
Yeah, you're in a conference. And so, Notre Dame's got the best of both.
Yeah, so Notre Dame's doing fine. But nevertheless, we'll get into some more details on that for you. Lots going on around Major League Baseball. Trade deadline quite literally less than 3 hours away. The Braves have made another deal today, so that's 3. None of them are earth-shattering. Trying to keep Terry okay because good young Baltimore Oriole player has been traded. Adley Rutschman is going to move up the coast.
To a division rival.
Yeah, see, I don't like that. That's really... That's a rarity. And if I'm Baltimore, did no one else want him? And
well, let's see. Here's a couple things about that. I've always been, depends on who you are. If you are in a spot contending for a division title and there's another team contending for the division title with you, there's no way I trade with them. But if I'm rebuilding, I'm mediocre, I'm not in position yet to really contend, I want to look for the best deal possible to make me better. So it depends on the situation. Like the Braves and the Phillies, no way would I be trading with the Phillies if I'm the Braves, right?
No.
But if I'm,
although I did see some Braves fan today suggest, why don't we go get, I forget which starter from the Phillies, and I'm like,
Clay Holmes probably.
I'm like, come on, man, like they're not trading with you, like don't.
No, Clay. I mean the Phillies, Aaron Nola or whoever.
Yeah, one of them.
Somebody in there, but not any of their big 3. One of the other guys probably. But yeah, like for an example, if you're the Braves, I mean, the Mets are 100 games out of first place. They're a disaster. Maybe they want to get rid of a Clay Holmes.
I love the
Mets. Had a good
Mets
year.
Are doing
I know
great.
You do. You love the Mets.
They're doing great.
Let's say, and the Phillies want to go really get better in the starting rotation. Clay Holmes available. Mets are 100 games out, and the Mets can get a good deal from the Braves. If I'm the Mets, I make a trade. If I'm the Braves, obviously I make a trade because I'm not worried about the Mets because they're the Mets.
Right.
And so I just really think it depends on the situation, but in theory, I get where you're going. You don't want to make a division rival better while making yourself weaker.
Right.
So, and to me, the Orioles...
I was hoping that when the Orioles were sold, that some of the
it's weird. They spent money on Pete Alonso. They spent a ton of money on Pete Alonso.
They shouldn't have spent money on
well, they did. And the flip side, the sad thing is he's arguably their best offensive player. The flip side of it is there's other, and they've signed some young guys to Atlanta Brave type contracts. They've 2 or 3 of those. So they've spent more money than the Angelos family, but now they've got one of the 10 richest owners in baseball. So money should not be an excuse to make your team better, right?
Right.
We won't get into the whole thing about Rutschman. Rutschman's former first-round pick overall, ahead of Bobby Witt Jr. Nobody argued about that, by the way, when Rutschman was picked 1 overall. When he was 1-1, everybody went, yeah, that's a dude. And he was a dude till he got hurt a couple years ago. And since then, he spent a lot of time hurt. Orioles have a young catcher they really like, was a huge prospect coming through. They signed him to one of those Brave-like deals. And to me, that spelled the end of Rutschman, because guess who's Rutschman's agent?
Scott Boras.
Scott Boras. You know what Rutschman's going to do at the end of his thing?
Sure.
Go to free agency.
Sure.
So what the Orioles did was, you got a year and a half of control. We're going to maximize your year and a half of control. Hell, you're injured most of the time anyway. We've got a young catcher who we're ready to groom to step in because we know we're going to lose you in free agency anyway. Let's maximize your return. The only thing for me is, first of all, I really like Rutschman. I'm a Rutschman fan, even though he's been hurt. 2, the American League is so bad, Jay. Despite the fact the Orioles are under 500, they're like 2.5 games out of the wild card.
I was going to say, a lot of people can make it in the AL if you just get hot and make the right deal. But now I think you've almost raised a white flag and said, well.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. In the American League, nobody scares you. So let's say you stumble into the postseason as wild card number 3. Hell, you could make a run to the World Series out of the American League.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've kind of got a little bit of mixed emotion on this one. I get things from a logical perspective, but I like Rutschman. And there's a part of me that says, you know what? You're sniffing around the wild card. Go for it. Get yourself in. Because remember, 2 years ago, or was it 3 years ago now, you won 100 games, look like the best young team in baseball.
Yeah.
You're falling backwards.
That's what I'm saying.
Sir.
Yeah, it's going in the wrong direction.
Yep.
That's one of the things that surprised me.
So
but we'll
anyway.
touch on that. We'll keep you updated. Again, big trade with the Dodgers and the Tigers, sending Tariq Skubal out to the coast, and a lot of mixed reaction around baseball, mostly anger toward the Dodgers, maybe some, dare I say, from some people, some fan bases and owners, envy. And it's gonna be interesting when you get to the next step for owners as they negotiate with the union, because the Dodgers may be a team. Look, they'll support a cap, I'm sure, but the Dodgers will look and go, yeah, we'll support a cap as long as it's really, really high, because we can afford it. And, then you'll get the Athletics and the Rays and a few others here and there, Royals, Pirates, to go, whoa. No, we're not talking about that kind of cap. So Dodgers, and poor Dave Roberts, who everybody likes. And you can't by the way, you can't have Dave Roberts in postgame answering for the deeds of management.
No, this is when Andrew Friedman, who's the best executive in baseball, gets in front of the microphones and talks.
Yeah.
This is not, don't push Dave Roberts out there. Just don't. God love him.
Well, it's like when I hate, well, never mind. I was going to, I'll just to make, and I won't get into the details. This is like when the Ravens put Harbaugh out there answering for some very bad off-field things that had happened to a particular Raven player.
100%.
And it's like, this is not the job of the head coach.
100%.
So, anyway, we got a lot to get to. Again, keep our eye on the U.S. Senate. Will there be a vote? You'd think there will, with all that went on Friday with the PCSA. We'll touch on those things for you. Baker Mayfield, Jadeveon Clowney has a old new home, Back to the Future kind of a thing. All that and a lot more. Come back on the other side as we keep getting ready for Gamecock August camp that opens in just a couple of days. You're listening to the Postgame Show. Welcome back in. 19 minutes after 3 o'clock, Monday afternoon. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford. Happy August, by the way. When last we were with you, it was July. That's how it works, man. August is next. Camp is coming up this week. Season will be here in, hang on. Got the little sheet here that Jen puts out every day. 33 days to kick off. 33 days. And Terry tells me that our summer golf classic is strong.
Mm-hmm. Like that, it's a classic.
It's going to be on Friday, August the 28th, a 9:30 start out at Charwood.
Co-hosted by our buddies at the Lexington County
Lexington
Gamecock
County
Club.
Gamecock Club. Yeah, see that here. The famous onion sausage breakfast.
Oh, it's so good.
Where a former staff member of ours once asked, "Where's the ketchup?"
That's why they're a former staff member.
That didn't go over well.
That was that person's last day.
I was there, and I didn't ridicule said person as much as just remind said person that you don't put ketchup on onion sausage. And somebody else that I did not know, a golfer, was there, and I was glad that person, whoever you may be, sir, if you're listening, I appreciate it if you remember this, echoed my sentiment.
Really?
Yeah. Because there was no ketchup out there, as you know. There was no.
No, you don't put ketchup on that.
There's like, where's the ketchup? No, nobody forgot the ketchup.
No, you don't put ketchup on that.
No.
Even, no. No.
So anyway, and Terry will have the golf gun trying to hurt people.
Oh, I love the golf gun, man.
So much more. Registration details coming soon, but Friday, August 28th. I'm afraid, sir, although, again, I may rather be at the golf course, but I believe that is the weekend that I will be moving my youngest child into college.
Okay, would you rather be going up and down the stairs, sweating and puffing and huffing, or sitting around eating an onion sausage?
You have heard the stories of my move-in to college on multiple occasions.
Every time you move a kid in, it's a horror story.
Well, I think most of us have them, don't they?
Oh, God, yeah. It's insane. Move them
Although
in,
I
move them
will
out.
say, this year, now, here's the thing. When I moved my oldest into college, that was obviously our first move into college. And because of the tightness of the stairwells and the lack of elevator, I had to carry a dorm fridge up 3 flights of stairs and then down a hallway by myself. Now, long story short, my youngest is going to the same college. And now, like a lot of schools do, you can basically just rent a dorm fridge for a nominal fee.
Yeah,
per year. And, I even told my wife, you know what? I'd have paid double that.
After what you went through, no doubt.
I was like, I'll donate them one if they need it.
Do not disagree with you, sir.
But I think that's the weekend, so you may not see me. But I'll send a video message or something. You want me to do that?
Yes.
That
do that. We'll put you on the monitor.
Yeah.
Out there, you can do the announcements from a monitor
while I'm moving into the dorm.
Kid. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, let's go to jail on the monitor. That's where you start cussing because you drop something on your foot.
August 28th. Yeah. I'll double check.
Pulling for you. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Good luck. Yeah, that's it. That moving them in and out, I'll just say this. The moving them in is terrible, but the moving them out and driving the U-Haul halfway across the country is not great either.
Dude.
Not great either.
By the way, independent of what you did, and then we'll get into some Shane Beamer. Can you pull up Friday's sound?
I got it right here,
Okay,
man.
you got it ready to go. Good. Be looking at cut number 8, by the way, when you get there. So you did recently, now you flew from here to Denver. And then drove to Boulder, got all the stuff done, and then you did have to drive all the way back across the country. Now, again, we won't be doing that much, but my wife is thinking about us renting something, probably not a U-Haul, mind you, but like maybe a large SUV of some type. And then driving to our daughter's college in the greater D.C. area, and then flying back. And I'm all for that.
I would say, you know what, not a bad plan.
I'm all for that.
Because again,
I hate driving.
I didn't realize that.
I hate driving.
And driving a U-Haul?
It might not be a U-Haul. I don't think we're driving a U-Haul. Because if we are, then I'll be like, okay, here's the deal. You drive the U-Haul one way. I'll get a round trip ticket. You get a one-way ticket.
Right.
Yeah.
After my experience, there will be no more U-Haul driving.
No, or better yet, how much is 2 men in a truck?
Yes, that's my next move.
So Carolina camp starts on Friday. We'll have another media day opportunity and sound from coaches, players coming up later this week. Stay tuned for that. But Shane Beamer was asked the other day at the golf outing, what was the biggest thing that he learned about his ball club during the offseason?
They just, and I think I've said it publicly plenty, it's just a mature group, Dick. They handle their business. It's an older group of guys that have been around for a while now. They're very intentional about just coming in the building each day and getting their work done. They're very driven and focused, and not just the returning players that were here, Lenoris and Peyton Williams, that's been here since 2022, but the transfers we've brought in, similar mindsets. The freshmen that we've brought in, I mean, some freshman classes you bring in and it's a bunch of, young, and you can tell they're freshmen. This freshman class that we've brought in, it's a lot of guys that I don't think they're not your typical freshmen with just their maturity and how they handle their business physically and off the field. So that's the thing that stands out to me is it's just a very, I like the word intentional. I just think it's a very intentional group about what they want to accomplish each day and ultimately this upcoming season.
In so many different answers that you'll hear, thoughts that you'll hear from Shane Beamer about this ball club, maturity/experience will be, I think, a major theme.
It's a calling card.
Because he used the word intentional in terms of how he views the players and how they're going about their business. I will flip it on him in a good way and say that it is intentional that you are hearing a lot more about how mature and experienced this roster is now relative to last season. Because as you all know, if you've been listening to us a lot, and to others, and to Shane, that was. Now, look, you can look at the football part of things and certainly blame offensive line play or Lenoris, doing things a little bit differently, as Shane mentioned on Thursday out at the golf outing, that some of those things were on him. Running backs, O-line, a lot of responsibility to go around with where some things went wrong on the offense. But he continued to point to, in certain situations, a lack of leadership, a lack of experience, and they fixed that. Oh. They have fixed it in terms of age and experience. Whether it translates to wins, we don't know yet. So I can't say they fixed it, but
I think they've
addressed it.
Yes, addressed it. They've brought in guys who have a ton of experience on winning teams. And look, just because you play on a winning team doesn't mean you're a leader or whatever. But to me, you go get guys from winning teams. You get enough of those guys, Jay, you're going to trip and fall into some winners and leaders, right? And I think Shane purposely focused on guys who had played, and not everybody did. I mean, our boy Nitro played at Purdue last year, God love him. But we get a lot of guys who played for winning programs and played in the playoffs and things of that nature. And look, winning cultures, especially today in this, we asked Kevin Schnall this about how do you build a winning culture in this transient grifter world we're at in college athletics? One thing that Coach Schnall did was bring guys in from Coastal who can set a culture really quick. Shane went out and started bringing some guys, a lot of them from winning programs. Plus, you got guys still here, Jay, who 2 years ago almost played in the college football playoff.
Right.
So you have it here. It's not like you're starting from ground zero.
Right.
It's just like you and I talked about. Some of those younger guys 2 years ago who were with all those old dudes and those mature veterans who helped lead the way to 9 wins, they were going to be asked to step up last year, and none of them at that point were really ready. You feel like they're more ready now, 2 years removed, a lot more experience, playing another year under their belt. We'll see, but you also brought in some older dudes with experience as well. Experience should not be a problem this year, is what I'm trying to say, Jay Phillips.
Right, exactly. It shouldn't be.
Problem.
Again, how it translates to wins and losses, we'll find out. Dylan Stewart, obviously one of the big names on everybody's mind when it comes to the season. Is he ready to go? Comments from Coach Beamer and Coach Clayton White on Dylan's progress. We'll do that when the postgame show comes back.
I'm just looking here at CHW Cabinetry, and something we don't talk about. They have limited lifetime warranties. Won't work. Add that to everything else we talk about with CHW Cabinetry. If you're looking to do things regarding cabinetry, accessories, things of that nature, indoors, outdoors, you call 803-520-6837. You'll probably talk to Star. She answers the phone. Or one of her crew will pick it up. It won't be some AI-generated bot. It'll be actually a real person. You talk about what you want to do. They'll sit down with you, either your place or theirs. Talk about their photorealistic renderings, their transparency, their customer service. They're looking, here are the different options for what you're looking to do. What's your budget? We'll get it done. We'll make it happen. It's simple. It's what the folks at CHW Cabinetry are famous for. Make that phone call, 803-520-6837, and just set up a meeting with the people at CHW Cabinetry.
3:34 on this Monday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Post-game show rolling along. Major League Baseball trade deadline is a couple of hours and change away. Orioles and Red Sox just made a big deal last night. I guess it was Saturday. We got the Dodgers and the Tigers making a deal for Tariq Skubal to move out to the coast, at least for a couple of months. Got a hunch. The Dodgers dig in the seat cushions and in the old ashtray there in the car and find enough to keep Tariq on the paper.
Well, it's going to be tough. Probably guys going to have to get second jobs to pay the bills.
Braves have made a couple of deals, maybe making one more. I've seen some whispers on the Twitters from some of the guys that are on the Braves beat that the Braves they're not done dealing yet. Whether they make the deal, working on it, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they make any further deals remains to be seen. But does look like Spencer Strider is done for the year. Spencer Schwellenbach is still trying to get himself back. So Braves did make a deal for one starting pitcher, Tyler Mahle. He was good for a year a couple of years ago.
Yeah, with the Reds.
He was okay.
Wasn't he? Well, not a couple of years ago with the Reds. And he was better. I mean, if I remember correctly, he was really good on the road and really bad at home, or he had weird splits. And
well, like you've said, and I'll take your word for it because the Braves do know pitching, and maybe they get him in and work on a couple of things, just some tweaks. At this point in the year, you're not overhauling a guy.
No, I mean, like for an example, Freddie Peralta got traded from the Mets to the Rays. Freddie Peralta was really good with the Brewers. The Brewers got a lot of prospect capital from the Mets for Peralta. Peralta's walk year of his deal. Peralta then made a fatal mistake. He put a Mets jersey on, and he's been god-awful this year. Mm-hmm. So to me, the Rays go get a guy. The Rays gave up their number 19 prospect in their system because you're selling low on Peralta if you're the Mets because he's been terrible. So the Rays get a guy who last year was one of the best pitchers in the National League. And who else knows pitching really well, Jay? The Rays. They're going to get him, throw him in the pitching lab. First of all, take the Met jersey off, which will make him better automatically.
Right, exactly.
And my guess is Freddie Peralta's
I don't know what that wins above replacement number is.
It's like, what we got to do? Get that bleeping jersey off of you.
+4.
Put you in the shower. But I guarantee you he gives them a productive last 2 months.
Yeah.
Because people know what they're doing. They're going to get a hold of him and figure out what's wrong. And again, a guy like Tyler Mahle. You get him. Maybe there's some things, if you're the Braves, you can tweak. And if he can be like, every fifth day go out there and give you enough to
I think you're looking
keep
for
you in a game.
looking for 5 to 6 innings.
And I hate to say this because, God, it nails across the chalkboard for me because I love baseball. If he can just keep us in the game, Jay.
Yeah.
And that's really
it's
what
like
you're
the
looking
old.
for.
I remember back in the and I'm going to sound like old dude here, but because this is still when the National League and American League were very different because the National League finally added the DH and runs and offense went up a little bit. But I remember watching a game one time. It was some Angels pitcher. I don't remember. It's some random day. It's like, oh, that was a quality start. And the guy gave up it was like 5 innings, 3 runs, 7 hits, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And I'm like, that's a quality start. Really? Like that's where we're calling that quality? He gave up 3 runs in 5 innings? But in the American League, for a guy who's like a 4th or 5th starter, they said it was. Okay, whatever. But these days, that's
I'll be honest
probably
with you,
acceptable.
The quality start stat is the dumbest stat in sports.
Well, and,
it's just 6 innings, 3 earned runs, a 4.5 run ERA. If you got a guy in your rotation, Jay, that takes the ball 30 times as a 4.5 run ERA, would you want him back next year?
I wouldn't, but today you
know what happened? There is you know where that came from? I'm taking the show off the rails. I apologize. Tracy Rigglesby is a Hall of Fame baseball writer, covered the Rockies. Very well respected. And during the steroid era, he came up with this quality start stat because back then the ball's flying all over the place, right? Yeah. And 4.5 runs was probably the average ERA of a starting pitcher at that point in the steroid era. So he called that a quality start. Now, instead of understanding the word quality and 4.5 run ERA should never go in the same sentence,
right.
The sheep that are other baseball writers, because Rigglesby is so respected, said, yep, I like that idea. It's a quality start. I've never liked that stat. I've always thought it was a dumb stat. It makes no sense. I don't want a starting pitcher with a 4.5 run ERA. No, thank you. I think if you want to do something like this, 6 inning starts in today's baseball. Just make it easy.
Yeah.
Did you go 6 innings? Okay, that's something for us today. But quality start, it's like a
little too subjective sometimes. We'll keep our eye on what's going on. There's also
I think the Braves will make another move before the
I think it seems like they're going to try to get one more arm, whether it's a starter or a reliever. Remains to be seen.
And I'll say this really quick. I think there are some like under the radar type starting pitchers that the Braves could pull that would help what they need. Look, you got an ace in Chris Sale. You got the toughest part. You've got a dude. You just need to get someone who could be middle of the rotation, number 4, number 5 guys, whatever, who can go again, give you decent starts for the rest of the year so you can get yourself to the playoffs, and maybe God knows who could get healthy.
Well, Robert Suarez will come back in a little bit. They got Brett Suter today as a lefty bullpen guy,
nice
so
reliever.
they did that. The Braves love their bullpen this year. And again, when Suarez comes back and you have a 1-2 punch of him and Raisel Iglesias, that's nice.
And so again, you have that. You're hoping you can get healthy with your everyday lineup and get Riley and Acuna Jr. hitting like they usually do. And then you can go get another starting pitcher before the deadline.
I like the Lane Thomas pickup.
I think he's a solid player.
He's not gonna play every day, but he doesn't need to.
He's a solid player.
Let's get you back into some Gamecock football again. August camp opening in just a couple of days. Again, from the list we were just pulling from, sir, number 5 on that one. Here's Shane Beamer on, not just the physical part, but, how Dylan Stewart feels between the ears coming back.
Making sure that he knows that we're never going to do anything with him before or that he's ready. And that's any player, meaning from a physical standpoint. Yeah, we all want him back out there quickly, but he won't be until, the doctors say he's good to go and he feels great about it. And that's going back to last season, too. He wasn't 100% healthy, to say the least, during last season. But the conversations that I had with his mom and him and people close to him throughout the season, they realized that then. I talked to his mom 2 days ago, and we were talking about it. So I think just the trust factor that he has with us, that goes a long way for sure, because it's very real. And then that part of why he's been so limited since the end of last season is from the physical and the mental standpoint, but understanding that we're going to rest, and that's the best thing for you to then allow you, when you are cleared to get back out there, be an even better version of the Dylan Stewart that we all saw when he came on the scene in 2024. And I know he will be. He's in a great frame of mind. I mean, I come in early in the morning, and during the summer, our first lifting group is at 7 a.m. Is the first group that lifts each and every day. And Dylan's in that weight room at 6:45, 6:50 every morning, getting a head start on everybody else, with his recovery and getting healthy, and really proud of where he is right now in the summer that he's had mentally and physically.
I liked that answer the other day, and that's one that we didn't play on Friday, but I remember hearing Shane giving that answer live on Thursday, getting in early. Yeah, obviously, he's doing things to make sure that he feels great, but, Dylan, look, Carolina fans can look at this in a lot of ways. Dylan Stewart made a choice to return to South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And I assure you, if you can hear my voice, then trust me on this. Everybody that has a football team would have paid Dylan Stewart to come to their school this season.
Mm-hmm.
So, that part of it tells you that even with what he's going through and what Carolina went through, and those are two different things, this is the choice that he made. He trusts the people that are here to get him to where he needs to be. This is a young man, and the reason I'm saying it the way I am, I'm not trying to sound all sappy, but this is someone who is going to be in a position to make genuinely life-changing money here in a few months, because there's the potential. I don't think it's likely, but it's not crazy to think this could be someone with a big year that an NFL team may say, there's the number 1 pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it here before at that position, and you've seen others at that position do it. I mean, it's not at all unreasonable to believe that he could be. Now, again, I think that with the kind of quarterbacks that are in this upcoming class, you're gonna have quarterbacks going maybe 1, 2, 3. Who knows? Depends on how good the year is for quarterbacks. There's a couple of guys, Terry, but I think he's in the mix. At least if he's not the first player taken overall, probably the first non-quarterback taken.
I was going to say he could be the first non-quarterback, first defensive player. Look, Dylan Stewart was hurt almost all last year, to be fair, and Clayton said that to us. If he's healthy and gets close to his freshman year, he's going to go top 7, top 5.
Terry will open the vault. I don't know if he has one that I want to touch on, but it's one of the best that has ever happened in Major League Baseball. So I hope he has it on his list. You're listening to the Postgame Show. 11 minutes in front of 4 o'clock on this Monday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Latest on the Protect College Sports Act. There are updates on whether or not it will be voted upon by the U.S. Senate. We'll have that for you coming up top of the hour and get into a few other things, including a pretty big ruling in federal court out in Colorado that has ramifications across the country when it comes to the business of college sports. More from the Gamecocks as we get ready for August camp coming up in just a little bit. I did see where the Phillies are going to move Bryce Harper back to the outfield. I'm sure he'll be thrilled with it.
Yeah, because they picked up Reyes from San Francisco, the dude that all he does is get base hits.
Yeah.
And they picked him up. He's just he's a second baseman. A really weird thing. He went from a really bad second baseman to a really good second baseman. You know who his infield instructor was this year?
I don't.
Ron Washington.
Oh, yeah. Wash.
Ron knows a little bit about infield play.
Yeah, I wish the Braves could have gotten Wash back, but I guess they had a full staff.
Yeah, so
Wash was good.
Reyes is a much better defender at second. They're going to move their current second baseman to third, their current third baseman to first, and Bryce Harper goes to the outfield. Should be really nice with that bad elbow of his to be playing the outfield now.
I should know this. Who's DHing? Just let Bryce DH because he doesn't want to play. He don't want to play right field anymore.
I got it. No, Schwarber.
No, it doesn't matter.
Schwarber's going to do some, some DH.
Yeah, I guess that's true. All right.
I'd rather have Harper running around in the outfield than Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, Schwarber. Yeah. All right.
He's like a drunk polar bear with his feet tied together, running around in the outfield. Schwarber is obviously a high-level offensive player, but defensively, no, thank you. No, thank you.
That's fair. That's fair.
Bryce, Bryce played the outfield for a long time.
Oh, he did for a long time, but he hasn't. But it's now been like 3 or 4 years. So.
And remember, again, the elbow thing was a problem. That's why he moved to first base to start with.
Well, I'm pulling for the Phillies to get it right.
Well, I know, and you love Bryce Harper. He's one of your favorite players.
Big fan.
Huge fan of Bryce Harper.
Big fan. Although I think Bryce has moved to third on the list.
Okay,
he's been overtaken by Bryson.
Has Bryson passed Bryce Harper?
Yeah, I think
so
it's two golfers and then Bryce Harper.
You got two golfers, then Bryce Harper?
Yeah.
Why are you such a hater?
Well, I'm not. I mean, for the most part, everybody's hating on the Dodgers. I'm not mad at the Dodgers today.
Yeah, we'll get to that
Most
later.
people are, but I'm not.
I will say this.
I'm not a hater.
They will not win the World Series.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
They won't win the World Series.
But I don't like Patrick Reed. I'm not a big fan of Bryson DeChambeau. And I don't like Bryce Harper.
So we talk about the people you don't like. Makes you look like a hater.
No, I like everybody else. How's that?
It's those three guys.
So the other 7+ billion of you, y'all are good, man.
Those three guys, no way.
There's probably a couple in the Premier League I don't like. There's not even any Raiders I don't like anymore.
Yeah,
that's the irony, man. They're in Vegas, but I like Brock Bowers. I like Mendoza.
Yeah, you know what? Too?
I like Austin Jeethy.
They've been so bad for so long. Why hate them?
Yeah,
what's the point?
And I like the Chiefs. I don't have any problems with the Chiefs as a Bronco fan. I'm good. I'm not a hater.
As I got older, I was always like, I just want my team. I worry about my team being good, and if they're really good, then I'll worry about other teams.
Yeah.
And again, you and I have had this conversation. The hating thing, man.
I don't have time.
If you affect my life in some way directly every day, I can have the ability to hate you.
Yeah.
But if you're just a team that plays my team, I really don't.
In that respect, I don't really hate those guys. Yeah. They're just at the top of my list of least.
No, you
players.
hate them.
Well,
you hate them. You do. It's okay.
All right, let's open the vault.
It's okay. All right, here we go, man. I'm going to do yours first, sir. You have one.
So this is one of the greats, and I wish I could, even an audio playback wouldn't do it justice. But I want you all to go punch up. If you've never seen it, heard of him or anything, those of you of a certain age certainly have. But today is the 39th anniversary of Joe Niekro, then a Twins pitcher. He pitched for a lot of clubs, Braves, Astros primarily, but he was a Twin in this particular game. And the home plate umpire in the ball game, they were on the road, noticed that, one of the balls during the game was really, really scuffed. And he came out, and he's given Joe Niekro a really good talking to. Joe Niekro, like his brother Phil, masterful knuckleball pitcher. And so he's like, let me see your glove. Because he's like, these scuffs are coming from somewhere, and humans don't make these scuffs. This is sandpaper. This is something harsh and abrasive. And so he's like, all right, well, empty your pockets. And Tom Kelly out there. And by the way, the Twins won the World Series this particular season.
Right.
And Tom Kelly comes out, and they're talking, and like Kent Herbeck's out there, and And Joe Necro like sticks his hands in his back, right and left pockets, and he pulls them out real quick, and out comes flying like an emery board
It's so funny.
and a small piece of sandpaper.
The best thing is when, like today, we can slow-mo it, and you watch that stuff just slowly
It just
fly
flies
out. Of the
out,
pocket.
and they reach down, and before the ump even like stands back up with the nail file in his hand, the emery board, he ejects him. He got a 10-game suspension.
So funny. It's one of the best.
But he's like, I don't have anything in
good.
there. Like, what are you
I got
talking
nothing.
about?
And he throws it. It's so good.
So
It's so good.
all right, we'll do the other one you had because you have a good one too coming back, and then we'll get into some other stuff around college sports. Keep it here, hour 2 on the way.
All right, so if you're a guy and you're just having issues, just don't feel like yourself anymore. Things that used to be easy aren't. You don't have that same zest for life. You can't lift like you used to. You just don't feel strong. If you go do some kind of exercise, you spend the next 2 days crawling up and down the floor because you can't move and you're sore and stiff. Maybe you don't sleep right. Maybe you can't remember stuff. Whatever. It could be helped. 803-875-MENS. The Men's Clinic of South Carolina. Just make that call. Dr. Dan and his staff are there for you. Free consultation. They'll do a testosterone test, then put together a program specifically designed for you to get you back to feeling like you again. Just make the call. 803-875-MENS. The consultation is free at the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
4 o'clock on this Monday. Welcome back in. Second hour of the postgame show coming at you from downtown Columbia's Herndon Chevy Studios. There's Terry Ford right over there.
Where?
Right there. I'm Jay Phillips. I'm right here. Were you, well, I'm sure you were. Did you happen to look? I know your window in your office doesn't face the State House. I know, I guess some of the windows in our suite of offices face the State House, but apparently someone ran a vehicle up onto the grounds of the State House this morning.
Really? Yeah, I missed that.
In the 8 o'clock hour, I believe.
Were they like texting and driving?
I didn't see details, so I don't know if this was accidental, intentional, but I did see that there were several law enforcement vehicles, and I guess they had a portion of Gervais blocked for a little bit.
Yeah, somebody drives up the steps to the State House.
Well, no, not the steps. I don't know if it was the steps, just onto the ground. So again, and if you've noticed, and maybe you have, maybe you haven't, Mr. Ford, that they do have like barricades now at Main and Gervais, which is good. So I guess somebody
that's a good idea.
Hit one of those, but they're not. Those are. I would call them deterrents.
Yes.
I wouldn't say they are preventive.
Probably not. Yes.
I mean, if you really felt like it,
you get there.
now your car is going to pay the price to some degree. But I didn't know if you or anybody else.
Yep, around 8 a.m., intersection of Gervais and Sumter, leaving one vehicle on this. Oh, a vehicle crash occurred 8 a.m. today, intersection of Gervais and Sumter, leaving one vehicle on the South Carolina State House grounds.
I mean, that's not easy.
That's
not easy to do.
That's an achievement.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I'm seeing if there's anything more to this. Oh, you see it. Yeah, right there in the flower bed. GMC SUV.
No reasons. So it's not intentional. That's
yeah, it looks like that was just kind of a whoops.
That's a pretty big whoops.
That's a huge whoops. You ought to see it again, sitting in a flower bed by the tree. They're right off the road. They're across the sidewalk.
Maybe they're just into horticulture.
Yeah, you know what? Want to get a closer look? Maybe they love trees.
The grounds are nice, man.
Some people every now and then. Oh, wait a minute. Irmo man charged with oh no, it's 2002. Never mind.
Oh, good.
Somebody in 2002 had a DUI crashing in the State House. Do you remember this?
I don't.
Some guy ran a stop sign in the intersection of Senate and Sumter and drove up onto the grounds and was charged with a DUI.
All right.
2002.
Well, at that point, you realize that's a T intersection, Senate and Sumter. So you got to really not be paying attention on that one.
Yeah, that's it. Well, DUI.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
But that's a T.
Right there. His name was Romo.
No, stop. No, too soon. That was mean.
Too soon?
Too soon, man.
Okay.
Too soon. No, you can't. No. We can't do that. Can't do that.
I can't?
No. Plus, he would have. Well, never mind. I was going to say if it was literally like 25 years ago, 02, then he would have been in Oxnard at camp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So, anyway, do you want to? Let's do your vault.
I had one that was interesting.
Yeah, because I know you wanted to get to
this. This is kind of funny.
Because you asked me if I had the same one, and I did not.
This day in 1960. I just saw this. I saw this after when we were getting ready to do this.
Okay.
For the only time in MLB history, there was a manager trade.
Yeah, I heard this morning, but
Detroit sent their manager Jimmy Dykes to Cleveland for their skipper Joe Gordon. Neither it didn't matter. Both teams are 20-some games out of 500.
Yeah,
20-some games out of first place rather. So it didn't
Tigers
really work
and
out
who?
great. The Tigers and the Indians.
Okay. So, I mean, now I could be a smartass. So did one guy really just want to leave Detroit and go to Cleveland, and one guy really want to leave Cleveland and go to
Dude,
Detroit?
I'm so done with this town.
I mean, which industrial mega center do you want to? I don't really.
I'm tired of this thing. So I'm tired of
Or maybe
mine.
the guy in Cleveland was like, I want to be closer to Canada. I'm going to move to Detroit.
Yeah. Oh, I want to see if there's any more like input on this thing.
Why would you? I don't understand.
Because both teams ended the year like 24,
Well, yeah, but I mean,
games out of
what do
500.
you know? What did the two owners are thinking to it? Like, what's going to happen here?
It's very bizarre.
It doesn't make
A very bizarre trade, and I'm trying to like get a little something out of this so we can get more perspective on it. But
I wouldn't worry about it.
everything I run into, I have to pay for, and I refuse.
wouldn't worry about it.
Here we go. I'd be silly to agree to work only this year, said Jimmy Dykes. Why I could get paid for not working for the Tigers for the rest of the year makes no sense. I guess maybe Dykes was you're getting ready to move him along. Just very weird. Nothing, just a very bizarre. You traded managers.
Yeah, it just seems not
Did
like
you see that today?
Not like the guys in the '70s that like swapped wives and kids and everything.
Right.
Whatever.
See, that's the crazy one with the Yankees and Fritz Peterson.
I don't remember the name.
I can't remember the other
Tommy used to
guy.
tell that story every year on one and I'm like because he remembered it. I guess he was in college then, and I'm like. That still remains.
Families, man.
Yeah,
This
they like
isn't-
traded families,
Yeah,
like
it's
swapped,
just-
which again is weird. Like, but I guess you're at least with one of your parents still if you're kids. But that's
but still, it's like and it felt like that. Well, again, everybody agreed to it, which is strange.
It's just messed
but
up.
then, like, if you're a kid, all of a sudden you got a new dad or a new mom
or something. That's bizarre.
That one.
And
was one of
I
the-
heard Dan Patrick say, like, how have they not ever made a movie out of that 50 years plus later? That's a great question.
Mike
that
Kekich was the other guy.
That is rather movie.
And again, look, the 70s was a little crazy. We know. But, yeah, it was during spring training of 1973. They had separate press conferences, and now they announced they traded families. So it's like I guess Fritz Peterson, why are you doing this deal? Because I need a new family.
It's just
I don't
weird,
like mine.
man. I
I
mean,
like his better.
Yeah, I mean, well, anyway.
Now, ready? Peterson and Susan Kekich, who became Susan Peterson, they remained together and married, and they had 4 kids until Peterson passed away in 2024 at the age of 81. Kekich, on the other hand, his relationship with Marilyn ended shortly after the public announcement.
Oh, boy.
Oops.
Well, maybe that was
One dude,
maybe it was a him problem.
Yeah, one dude it worked, and the other dude was done.
Yeah, maybe seriously, think about that.
Mike Kekich, you went 0 for 2 there, Chief.
Yeah,
Maybe
the others stayed married 50 years.
Just saying.
That's pretty good.
That's really good for a wife
good.
swap.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I mean, man, come on now.
When you say it like that, it just
wow. I just think being a little kid, and all of a sudden I got a new mom.
oh,
What am I doing?
I guess it is a wife swap. But that just I don't think we're supposed to call it that, Terry.
Yeah, it takes that down a lot of weird
Yeah,
roads.
I don't think we're supposed to go down that road.
Anyway,
They should make a movie about that.
It should. That is really weird. I get the 70s. I've heard stories, but still, wow.
Yeah,
That's a something.
that's a thing. That's a thing.
Absolutely.
One more I wanted to get to, and sorry, Clayton, I didn't mean to paint you into this corner, but it's not Clayton's fault. But I did want to get to one more from Clayton White for those of you listening last half hour. Cut number 15, Terry. We were listening to Shane Beamer talk about getting Dylan Stewart ready, mentally as much as physically. I think the physical part in football speaks for itself, but how do you feel about yourself? Do you trust your body? Those kind of things. And Shane touched on some of that. Here's Clayton White, Carolina's defensive coordinator, on how he saw, through Dylan Stewart's eyes, what Dylan was going through.
I will say he went into the season, game 1, something was going on with his back game 1. So give him a lot of credit that he fought through it. There's only to a certain point when you can take it, but so much, in regards of things going on in that part of your body. I was proud of how he played the run. He had like a 90-some run grade. He tackled very well. If you go back and watch his top run plays, it was some of the best defensive technique that you can possibly find. I'm proud of him. I'm always going to be proud of Dylan. I just want to see him bounce back. Seeing him now, if you saw him now, he's probably a half an inch taller, which he's a young guy that's growing. That probably doesn't help that situation either. He's still growing, which is great. Him and Lenoir both have grown, which is weird. Dylan is probably right at or above 250, and he looks phenomenal. So I love where he's at mentally right now.
And if you're wondering why Terry and I chuckled the way we did, because Clayton had a look of almost like a dad, not a coach, but like a dad,
So
a
good.
dad look of like, I don't know what they're doing. that kind of a look.
Still growing.
Yeah. So, and he's right. I mean, again, I'm no doctor, so I'm not going to sit here and say that, but it certainly is plausible. It makes a lot of sense that as you are still literally growing into your body and you've got a back issue, that could be something that exacerbates any discomfort that you might have. And, I hope, obviously, for a lot of reasons, and we mentioned this in the last half hour, this is a young man who is in a position, like any first-round pick, you're going to make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But he is going to be a high first-round pick, or certainly, let me say, I can't guarantee it.
I think.
But he's in position to be a top, certainly I think no worse than a top 10 pick. And he's in position, if it goes well, to be a top 5 pick. And that's going to alter your life in great ways.
If he plays like he did his freshman year, he's going to go easily in the top 10. Top 7, top 5. And
again, I think there's an outside opportunity to be, if it's phenomenal. Now, again, I think the quarterback class this year is going to dictate.
You feel like an Arch Manning or someone will go number 1 overall, because Moore could have gone number 1 overall this past year.
Yeah, and swears that it wasn't because the Jets had, one of the top picks.
Hey. I'm going to go. Who's got? I'm good this year.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to be part of
might
the
he have
Jets.
been okay going to the Raiders? I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't matter now. Fernando Mendoza's a Raider.
Yep. I think that Stewart, and if you listen to Clayton, this injury started in game 2 of last year. And so Dylan Stewart, in some way, shape, or form, played through it, around it. Probably some games he felt better than others. And plus the fact that other teams are like, when the ball gets snapped, all 10 of you guys hit number 6 because we don't want him beating us. The combination of all that, we didn't see him wreak havoc on quarterbacks, and Clayton discussed it there, this is the growth you like if you're the NFL, that Dylan Stewart played the run much better his sophomore year. It shows maturity. Right. It shows a little understanding of, we want you to hit quarterbacks, number 1, but number 2, don't look at us and say, hey, dude, I don't hit running backs. Because you want a guy that's actually going to give effort in the run game as well. So you saw a growth in Dylan Stewart's game last year, but how much the injuries and the extra attention slowed him getting to the passer, we're not there every day, but there was some of that, I think, to be true, because Stewart just was not the same demon off the edge, and I think those two things are probably the biggest reasons.
Yeah, I think to your point about stopping the run too is, hey, here's one way we can negate him getting after our quarterback.
Run at him.
Quarterback doesn't have the ball.
Run at him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So again, pulling for the kid because there's a big opportunity there. All right, we'll come back on the other side, get you updated. Again, so much has been made of the Protect College Sports Act. A big movement Friday night as the SEC and Big Ten presidents and chancellors voted to support this bill in its current form. Still a long way to go. There is new information today about a potential vote in the U.S. Senate this week. We'll give you that and more when the postgame show returns. Big fan of the British Bulldog Pub. Such great food out there. TVs everywhere. Fantastic beer list or any of your other favorite spirits to enjoy a ball game or just a night out with your buds and your family. You can do all of that. Again, great family-friendly opportunity for you as well at the British Bulldog Pub. And, listen, a lot of people say, English food. Huh? What's that like? Well, listen, the fish and chips, I know it sounds kind of basic, right? But it is so good. They hand batter their haddock every time they make it. Hand-cut fries, grilled lemon on the side that you squeeze over there. And that grilled lemon, there's something about it that turns that tartness into just something different when you squeeze it over that fish. House-made tartar sauce. So traditional, so good. The only reason I didn't get it the last time I was there is because I got the fish sandwich with the tartar sauce on it instead. Great beer, great fun, games everywhere, TVs everywhere. British Bulldog Pub in Harbison. Check them out. All right, welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you on this Monday afternoon. So let me get to the latest. This is from Ross Dellinger. Ross, by the way, he can't hear me, but Ross has been doing a fantastic job. Our buddy Ben Portnoy has as well, covering this story out of Washington and across the country. So the U.S. Senate has taken up the Protect College Sports Act. Again, most of you have been at least following some of that. It's going to change a lot of things, hopefully for the better in college sports. SEC and Big Ten were initially not involved in writing this bill. Instead, a really prominent Big 12 booster and collegiate leader was. That proved to not be fatal, but certainly proved rather, well, just be nice, negative on how this bill went down. And because, again, you're not for those of you who hadn't been following along too much, let me try to just nutshell this as best I can so I can get you updated. The initial language in this bill was written very intentionally to put limits on the Southeastern Conference and the Big Ten. Now, it didn't mention them by name, but it laid out parameters and other measures and metrics, if you will, that only only the SEC and Big Ten matched. All right, let's just put it that way. And then finally, somebody had the bright idea to go, I wonder if we should check in with them, because they basically found out, oh, we're hearing they don't like this. And
why would they?
Yeah, right. Why would they? And some people, and again, initially, most of the ire was directed toward the SEC, and you heard some fans around the country going, oh, the SEC just wants to take its ball and go home, when you heard Greg Sankey mention the potential of, air quoting the word breakaway. Which, again, was never going to happen. The SEC and the Big Ten don't want to break away from the NCAA's national structure. But if they needed to make their own rules and then enforce them, they were prepared to do so as the last option.
Let's stop a minute and think of this as well. If the SEC and Big Ten had enough, let's say this bill didn't change.
Yeah.
And the SEC and Big Ten didn't sign off on it.
Yeah.
If the SEC and Big Ten would break away, they would make even more money on a TV deal being exclusive and being a super league, playing each other, than they do in the current state they're at now.
Yeah, because they could then pool their rights. And again, at that point, you got 34, and since there's no law to prevent it, you're plucking a few. And maybe even having those schools just look forward, thinking about how to pay back their current conferences. You probably get to 40-ish, right?
Let's say you go there.
You bring Notre Dame on board.
Yeah, obviously, Notre Dame.
You're getting North Carolina.
Yeah, you get North Carolina.
Probably Miami.
Others. Probably Miami.
Again, I've been saying I think I would get the 2 Arizonas because
it depends if you want some balance with regional balance, and again. In Arizona.
And I'd probably bring Cal and Stanford on board.
Maybe. It depends on what you're looking at for Cal and Stanford, what your goals are. I mean,
well, you need, again, some balance.
If
and
you need some 2 smart schools.
Yeah, you need
good.
some. You do need to keep the.
Because I guess the point being of those.
And the Big Ten, seriously, man, the Big Ten would feel that way, and every school we just mentioned, even if some of them come to the SEC. They're all AAU members. And that's that, again, to a lot of these presidents that vote on this kind of stuff, that is going to matter.
That's a deal breaker to the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's going to matter.
And just with Cal and Stanford.
Whether you want to scoff at it or not,
remember, Cal and Stanford are both in the Bay Area, which is San Francisco, which is a gigantic market.
And TV likes that.
Yeah, so it depends on what your angle is. If your angle is we want a big market and 2 very highly acclaimed academic schools, then you go grab Cal and Stanford. Yeah. If you're looking for schools that are going to be really competitive, you don't go get Cal and Stanford. No. Because they're not competitive anymore in this new world.
Well, not in football, but...
And that's really what you're looking at. If you want the balance of, okay, Stanford used to be really good at all Olympic sports and cared deeply. Cal's had some success in some Olympic sports that aren't.
Oh, those 2 schools, I think, as a percentage, put out more Olympians than anybody else.
So if you're looking at that to balance as well, and academics.
And conferences like to tout that, Terry. They do.
And we don't think about that stuff as much as everybody else. But again, the new world order we're in with the cutting of those sports by some schools, it depends on how much those schools care. But if they want to balance things, you would take a look at that.
So anyway, and so again, that's a nuclear option. And I think at that point, you had enough stakeholders beyond the SEC and Big Ten a few weeks back, and maybe a month or so ago, realize, oh bleep, they really can if it came to that.
And I think
nobody wants that, including them. So what do we do? And then they get to reforming this bill to put some language in that is a lot more, that still puts the guidelines in place for transfers, for NIL, and eligibility, and then at the same time allows the SEC and Big Ten to continue to spend the money they earn. And that is one of the big things, because basically this was going to it wouldn't disallow it per se. But the cap is just that basically the SEC and Big Ten were saying, look, we got a lot of money around here. And if you put this really low number cap on everybody across the country, we're telling you right now that a bunch of people, including a couple in the Big 12, Texas Tech looking in your direction, Florida State in the ACC looking in your direction, are going to circumvent this potentially through nefarious methods by just paying a kid to show up and do something and give him $1 gajillion to do it.
Sure.
And so if you put this in a hard cap and write language that absolutely mandates proof of anything beyond what schools can do, then we'll be for it. And we need our lawyers to see the bill and to then confer with our conference leadership and our presidents and chancellors and virtually 99.999% guarantee us that this is not something that some other school or some other booster somewhere else isn't going to find that tiny little loophole. Even like a cockroach finds a crack in the
Interesting
wall.
you use cockroach.
And get themselves into this thing and then blow it up. So finally they got that the other day.
Yeah,
It took them till Friday afternoon to get it, and by Friday night they voted.
And then it became like, unfortunately, a news dump. But it's just the idea that, to me, and it just nothing is ever simple in any of this. There are things that this entire country, when it came to college athletics, which very rarely agrees on anything agreed upon. One was we need to do away with this ridiculousness with state laws circumventing rules. That had to stop because this is insane. That's number one. Number two, you had to make some sense out of, yes, kids should be able to transfer without sitting out a year, absolutely. And you did move it to one transfer portal deal, which I think is what it had to be done. So now you just want to tighten up on that transfer portal stuff to where things can't get goofy. Also, you want to be able to get a hold of what you just described in the NIL space. So people just couldn't go wild, wild west and just throw money everywhere and use, fake entities or entities giving fake job, whatever. It's really simple, the things you need to do. And the one thing they didn't do enough of, which I think is huge, is put a stop to this state law nonsense. That's what's killing you more than anything else is you make a ruling and some guy goes down the street to the local courthouse and the judge there, because he graduated from the school, flips your ruling, says kid can play his 35th year at your school.
Right.
I mean, that to me is a bigger problem than.
And I think they like that language. I think the language that's in there for that they like.
And that's what you had to focus on was that the NIL stuff, and for me the transfer portal. You got one portal. These kids can now. One thing I would fix. Once you've signed your NIL agreement or you attend class, you're in. I don't care if the portal's still open. You can't then jump out if Pete Golding or just send you a text message offering you more. Once you made a decision and you sign with that school, you go and attend class at that school, that's it. That may come. I mean, I don't know, but and that's why I say, look, this thing's still going to the House, so some of the minutia is going to still be dealt with. It's got such a long way to go.
But
man.
the big thing, there were a couple, but most of them they were okay with, and they had already been satisfied. And this is across the board because the Big 12 and the ACC and the Pac-12, who is still technically a defendant as part of the House settlement. They're on board with the vast majority of this. Again, the problem was that the SEC and Big 10 said, well, look, we're making more money than y'all. And we got more money to spend than y'all. So we're going to raise that number. But we also want to know that number, regardless of whatever it may stop at, is going to not be circumvented.
Yeah,
and so they got that in.
You get that. You're not going to pull TV money resources.
Well, they made sure that was completely voluntary and that no percentage vote could then mandate a pooling of rights, because again, they'll just walk away.
Right, and you're not.
They'll
totally
just walk away.
Banning super leagues or the idea of expansion.
They don't want to.
Like
Greg Sankey has said a bunch, including to you and me. We are a super league, and the Big 10 feels the same way.
And look,
we're good with what we're doing. Look at the money we make.
And again, to me, We got to go. Well, we'll get to it later.
Well, I'll come back on the other side. Again, I wanted to set everything up. I know it takes longer than it needs to sometimes, just to in case you don't know, and I don't want to just sit here and pretend that everybody knows exactly what's going on. So I'll set you up with why it's taken this long, and now what comes next. We'll do that on the other side.
Only a couple of accidents to get to so far. Two Notch Road northbound at Clemson Road. And then Charleston area, where one of our affiliates are, 95 northbound near US 178. Besides that, Malfunction Junction, malfunctioning like always. And we have our construction in the typical spots that drive us crazy and annoy us. I-20 between Sunset and Bush River. I-26 between Bush River and Old Sandy Run. And Broad River Road between I-26 and Dutch Fork. Get back to the postgame show, continuing talking about this sports bill. It's next.
All right, welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you here. Coming up top of the hour, headlines of the day. A lot to get to around Major League Baseball. Trade deadline about an hour and a half away. So, again, we gave you the setup as best we could in 10 minutes or so for those who have not been paying a lot of attention or just needed a refresher on the Protect College Sports Act. But again, like Terry said, it's going to there's language in there to override these state court rulings that have been just all over the place. So this will be federal legislation that prevents that, sets a certain cap for now at least on NIL spending, revenue sharing. There's a retention pool. It allows for the pooling of media rights, but do not. Now, you might see everybody but the SEC and Big Ten pool their media rights. That may or may not.
That might be smart if you kind of take a step back and look at the SEC and the Big 12. Might be a smart move for them.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, but even then, I think you're going to get Clemson and Florida State and Miami to go. People watch us, but they're like, God bless you, Texas Tech. I mean, Texas Tech thinks they're Texas right now, and Texas Tech is convinced that people really want to tune in and watch them. Here's what people are going to want. Texas Tech, for the next little bit, is going to be the wrestling villain. That's what people are going to tune in for. They're going to tune in to watch you hopefully get beat. The difference is Texas Tech can't, well, that's what they're going to watch. But ultimately, but Texas Tech isn't a draw. I'm not sure there is any one singular Big 12 school, save BYU, that is a big national draw.
No, just BYU.
But so it could help them. And anyway, we may see that, but it allows for that. But I would not count on the Southeastern Conference and Big Ten Conference getting on board with other conferences to do that because they don't need to.
Right, and really, in the ACC, there's only 2 or 3 schools.
That's what I say. You got Florida State and Miami and Clemson. But again, people are tuning in right now to see North Carolina get beat because people hate Bill Belichick.
Here's the thing, though. Like for an example, Miami. People watch because they're good again. If they're not good, there's a few people who remember the U like you and I, but masses amount of, casuals don't want to watch a bad Miami team. Miami's good again. Then all of a sudden you remember the 90s. You remember the early 2000s. Now you're going, the U, baby. Yeah. And so they're relevant because they're winning. Clemson's been on a good run for, 15 years under Dabo. When you're winning, people watch you. But it's a different level of being brand recognizable if you're not winning. Right. Notre Dame for a while wasn't winning. Then Brian Kelly got there and got them consistently winning again. They were still being watched, Jay. Yeah. 6-6, 7-5.
Notre Dame's going to get watched.
Texas,
and look, Florida State had a bad year. Florida State's still getting watched.
They're getting watched, but so there's a different level of you're relevant now because you win, and you're relevant. Period is what I'm trying to say.
I would say of those in the ACC that are going to get the most consistent eyeballs, regardless, is Florida State.
Oh yeah,
because number one, it's a big school with a bunch of fans, way bigger alumni base than probably Clemson and Miami put together.
And remember, Florida State was good for a long time.
Long time, and they haven't been. Well, they had one bad year a couple years ago.
They've been more meh.
But they have. They've been, but still, they're still a draw.
Sure they are.
But anyway, so this bill allows for them to pool things together. We'll see if it happens or not. And there's a few other things that, again, it caps the number of conference members at 19. That's unlikely to stay in the final version of this bill. So will it get voted on is the big question this week. The Majority Leader, John Thune of South Dakota, needs to put that in today to see if it's going to get voted on. And it looks like it's 50-50 based on what Ross Dellinger is saying of Yahoo Sports. The Senate Commerce Committee is planning to release the final text of the act, and there remains hope that the bill will be voted on this week. Ross put that out just before 4 o'clock this afternoon. Goes on to say that the Senate, and listen, let's be serious for a minute here about what the business of the United States Senate really is relative to something that has to do with sports of any kind. The Senate is going to take up the potential approval of the new Attorney General of the United States. It's a really big deal.
Right.
The Senate this week needs to take up another government spending bill. That's a really big deal.
Yeah.
There is a bill right now in the Senate that deals with sanctions on Russia over the Ukraine war. That's a really big deal.
Well, it ain't bigger than Bama football. Hell's wrong with you, boy?
And so there are a couple of other things in there, too, and you're going to try to get all this voted on by Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to want, and remember, you got floor debates, and you have time to do these kind of things, and the Senate is very deliberative to begin with. I think this Attorney General thing, and I'm not trying to play politics with anybody. I don't care how you feel about anything. But I do pay attention, and that's going to be contentious. It's already contentious.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Senate's job, remember, to give a final approval of those types of appointments. That's part of what they do constitutionally. So how long that takes, who knows? And so does this get voted on by Friday? Even, possibly. But they'll put the motion forward for cloture and then see just where it can fall on the agenda.
That's one thing. We've talked about this a lot because it's a thing, and we're seeing maybe a bill get the most traction ever regarding college athletics. But
it is. It is.
And you nailed it. There are a lot more important things in this world for our U.S. Congress to deal with than, NIL and transfer portals and, things of that nature. And that's always been my thing about this. I don't want my representative spending time on this when he needs to spend time on things that really affect my life one way or another in the place I live.
Right.
And just because we're talking about this, and you know better than me, you're the political guy here. I'm just a goober. This has still got a long way to go. I still don't think it's ever going to become a law. I do think, though, this gives the NCAA and some schools a little bit more hope that then something could go through.
Yeah.
But I still think we got to.
We do, and I do. I think, and that's one thing. And I even put in a tweet today because Dan Wolken, who I like a lot, is a terrific columnist. Basically in so many words said, "Oh, now the Big Ten and SEC are just bullying the Senate too." Well, no, but again, you excluded them from this, and again, as initially written, for lack of a better word, it was punitive toward them. They're going to be hacked off because they're not criminals.
No,
you're not writing a criminal law here, and so.
Can I ask you a question? Because you know politics. If this would have been done correctly, what you and I have talked about, you get the SEC and Big Ten involved from the get-go instead of Cody Campbell. And you get the Big Ten SEC involved. You also get input from the other two power conferences, obviously. And you put something together that's not going after two of them, but is just what's the best for the health of the sport. Mm-hmm. How much more quicker could all of this have been put into play?
Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti would have been telling you about the final version of the bill at media days,
and in the guise
at least the
of getting
final
something
Senate version.
Voted,
and it would have been on to the House already. I assure you.
So that's my point here. Yeah. If this would have been done correctly,
this thing's done. The Senate portion of this is done a month ago.
So that's what I'm saying.
Because this last month was the first month that you genuinely involved the SEC and the Big Ten, genuinely involved. Because to your point, like you said, you had Cody Campbell basically go to Ted Cruz and say, here's what we, college sports, need. And remember, Cody's been banging this drum since before bowl season last year.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been doing it not on his own, but there have been a lot of people that don't want what he wants.
Right.
At least they want it, but you got to be specific in a bill. Mm-hmm. And that's what the SEC and Big Ten have been saying. So to answer your question again, had you involved them in the process from March forward, they're at media days talking about their involvement in the initial bill and what they'd like to see when it's time for the House, or that the House is already taking it up, and how they'll be working with the House to put it all together for a final vote to then send to the president.
Once again, the example of a guy with a lot of money and a big, large megaphone for a mouth can derail things in life.
And then, ironically, the things that he most wanted in this bill initially, he will now not get.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jay or nay coming up. All right, welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. 11 minutes in front of 5 o'clock. Headlines of the day coming up, including some of the big trades going on around Major League Baseball. Some good news for, speaking of big-time matchups in college football. One of them's back. That'll be part of the headlines. We'll get into that and more coming up top of the hour, plus Gamecock Notebook, drive around the SEC. In the meantime, I don't know what Terry has in store for me for today's Jay or Nay. I'm just here for the game show music. So whatever we got.
Me too. I'm just here for the game show music too.
So I'm ready to go. But, yeah, if your answer is, or your question is, will the Senate vote on the Protect College Sports Act this week? I'm going to have to ride the fence. We don't have a third option for Jay or Nay.
No?
Well, we could. I mean, if you want to come up with one, Jay, Nay, or
Yeah, I like that. Jay, Nay, or
shoulder shruggy guy.
Exactly. We'll see. Again, I think a long way to go. There are going to be sides of the aisle that aren't going to be down with certain aspects of this thing.
Well, again, this isn't the final. I want to stress
No, it's not. It's not final.
All
No.
this is,
It's a
if you
start.
get it done, is the Senate side.
And that's the point.
It has to go to the House.
It's going to go to the House.
And it's going to go to committee. It's going to get chopped up. It's going to get dissected. It's going to get changed.
You just better hope you have enough of these folks who represent states with universities in these power leagues that aren't going to be told by the people that matter, you ain't voting for this thing. We'll see. We'll see where it goes, man.
Yeah, you have 26 states. You don't have California, but you do have, and you don't have New York, but you have Florida and Texas and Illinois and Michigan and Ohio and
See what
Georgia.
happens. We'll see.
So you got some big states, but you don't have California and you don't have New York.
So we'll see. See where it goes.
All right, let's go.
All righty, man. All right, the dealing of Bridge School to the evil empire is the LA Dodgers. It's the end of baseball as we know it. Things have to be blown up and changed.
Nay, it don't have to be blown up. I mean, look, the next CBA is going to redefine some of these parameters. If you ask me, Jay or Nay, will there be a salary cap by the end of these current negotiations? I'm going to give you a nay. But I think there'll be different, again, parameters on spending. I think the only way you get a cap is if you have a really high floor as well. But, I mean, look, I don't see it the way everybody does. I'm not here to go, hey, you go, Dodgers. Woohoo! But the Dodgers, the number one thing the Dodgers have in this isn't so much their money.
No.
They have the capital. They have the draft capital, the player capital, the talent capital. They were able to do this. So listen, and the Dodgers have almost always had the premier farm system in baseball. This is the Dodger way. And I got zero problem with that. Like, hey, Cubs, start developing players. Hey, Phillies, start developing players. Yankees used to.
They don't anymore.
I mean, the teams of the 90s that won all those were homegrown dudes, man.
They don't do it anymore.
They don't do it anymore. Judge is like an anomaly now. You know, the Braves, right? If you look at the Braves right now, look at how many homegrowns are on that Braves team.
To me,
I mean, you got to grow your own, and the Dodgers do it well, and they've got a lot of guys, so they got the money and they got the talent.
they're dangerous. They're smart, rich guys.
Yeah.
And the last thing is, other teams, if you want the Dodgers to win this deal, well, offer more than the Dodgers offer.
Yeah, I mean, and nobody could.
And nobody could or wanted to.
You know, and again, from what I heard, whether it matters or not, Skubal wanted to go to the Dodgers, so he at least told the Tigers, like you said to me this morning, you know, hey, he didn't have a no trade, no, but he could have made noise.
I will say this: if the Tigers traded Skubal to the Dodgers, that's what Skubal wanted. Everybody in the Dodger and the Tiger front office should be fired.
Yeah.
Because you got to do what's best for the Tigers, not for Skubal. He's leaving. He's a free agent.
And look, they got 2 top 50 players.
Well, it's fair. And we don't. Again, I don't want to make this just about this. They got 2 top 41 prospects in the game, according to Keith Law from the
And
Athletic.
the Dodgers got to pay the next $10 million of his salary, so the Tigers save money, and they probably weren't going to win the World Series anyway.
So, and by the way, the Dodgers won't either. We'll get into that at some point. They're not going to won the World Series. I will give you proof behind that, sir, at some point.
Well, I'd love to.
I did a little research.
Wait,
I did research.
So the Dodgers aren't going to win it.
Nope.
That's a fact.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact. It's a Terry Ford fact. By the way, really quick, your boy, you say his name, the U.S. Soccer coach.
Mauricio Pochettino.
Coming back, Jay or nay?
Jay.
You go with that?
Yeah, I'll have more in the news about it, too.
Yeah,
but that's a J for me.
Board?
That's a double J. Yeah, I'm big time on
Double J?
Yeah.
Double J on that. Look at you. I don't think you've ever double J'd before.
I probably have, but no, I'm very.
All right, cool.
That's a good move for USA. Yeah, now you just got to keep him for 4 years. Integrated media ready to help make your life a whole lot easier, a whole lot better, a whole lot more fun, and a whole lot more secure. You know, home theater, as I've said many times, speaks for itself. You know what big TVs and great sound systems are all about to make your life a whole lot more enjoyable. But what about keeping your home more secure? Or perhaps you've got a young person in your family who's out of college now, moving on to their own place for the first time. Call Integrated Media and let them set the whole thing up. The home theater, the security system, lights, thermostat, control it all from an app on your phone. You can do it at your house as well. They're ready to do everything when it comes to home technology. Smart home, make it a whole lot easier, more efficient, and again, fun. I mean, all of that in one place. 803-948-8327. One room, whole house, indoors, outdoors, security, cameras, lighting, thermostat, so much more. Work with my good friends at Integrated Media.
All right, that accident, as we said, near our affiliate in Charleston has been cleared up, but we have two still. Two Notch Road, northbound to Clemson Road, they're still working on that accident. The Quincy Newman Freeway at I-20, accident there as well. And our typical construction and malfunction junction issues like usual. We'll come back here, get the 5 o'clock news, the latest Major League Baseball trade deadline. A couple big names have been moved in the last few days. We'll get to that. Also, some other nuggets of information from the world of soccer, and who knows where else. It's coming up next, 5 o'clock news here on the Postgame Show. Sponsor our buds, Integrated Media, here on The Game and The Game Network.
It is 5 o'clock news time on this Monday. Welcome back in. It's also the final hour of the postgame show. Alongside Terry Ford, I'm Jay Phillips. We start with Major League Baseball. The trade deadline now 1 hour away. Braves fans, here's what's been going on with Alex Anthopoulos and Atlanta. Just a little bit ago, the Braves acquired left-handed relief pitcher Brent Suter from the L.A. Angels for infielder Nacho Alvarez. So Suter will come in to bolster what's already been a pretty good Braves bullpen. The bigger deal for Atlanta was the Giants trading starting pitcher Tyler Mahle to the Braves. Mahle was great last year, a 2.18 ERA and 16 starts. So he signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Giants this season, but he has been poor. A 5.13 over 18 starts, and his home runs given up about triple from last season. He's 31 overall this year, a 4.19, or excuse me, overall in his career, a 4.19 ERA. He's been nothing but a starter. Only one time has he not started in 160 appearances. So he's started 159 times. Alex Anthopoulos said of Mahle, quote, "We've liked him in the past. We've followed him. He's really good against left-handers. We still think we can make some improvements against right-handers." Now, again, remember, the Braves are without Spencer Strider, likely done for the season. Spencer Schwellenbach is he's supposed to come back soon, but who knows? He had bone spurs removed in February and has no date yet for his return to the bigs, and it's, August the 3rd. And Ronaldo Lopez, who has been good this season, went on the IL on Sunday with knee inflammation. So he's going to miss at least a couple of starts. So the Braves go out and get Tyler Mahle and hope that they can work with him to tweak a few things. Of late, by the way.
Back to where he was last year.
Yeah,
give it a try.
He's been better in the last month than he was at the beginning of the season. So and had a nice outing the other day. So we'll see how much that matters. Can't say it's going to matter a whole lot.
Again, if you can bring him in, he can give you something as a number 5 starter. Okay.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's fair. And then if you missed it over the weekend, the Braves acquired Lane Thomas and a minor league left-handed pitcher named Bailey Falter from Kansas City for 2 other minor leaguers. Thomas is the big deal in this trade. Pretty good this season. He's got an OPS in the 700s. He's played almost every game in center field for the Kansas City Royals. He'll spot start in center, but obviously Michael Harris is the Braves' #1 out there, and you're not moving him out of the way. So he'll platoon with Mike Yastrzemski, who's having a pretty solid season for Atlanta overall. He's 30 years old, is Lane Thomas, 288 career hitter against left-handed pitching, and that's primarily why he is being brought in to platoon and just bolster the bench.
His splits this year, I'm looking at it right now, 263, this is versus lefties. He had 114 at-bats this year versus lefties, 263 average, 370 on base, 430 slug, 800 OPS.
Yeah, so an 800 OPS against lefties.
He'll take that against lefties. And he's a platoon piece. He's an extra outfielder. And, again, for what you're getting and how you're going to use him, it's fine. I mean, he's not going to tilt the balance of power in the National League, but he's a nice little under-the-radar kind of acquisition.
Well, the Braves have needed, all year long, left field has been a point of contention. Yastrzemski's been good. He's been good. But remember, the Braves got Jurickson Profar on a 2-year deal.
How's that going?
And he's gotten himself suspended for PEDs.
Twice.
And so that's been a mess. And you've tried to kind of, and you have an 8-game lead despite having, let's face it, left field is not a place where you typically worry about whether or not a dude can play left field. That's a place where you need a guy to hit.
Okay, for an example, if you bring in Lane Thomas, he's going to play against lefties, right?
Yeah.
Remember, Mike Yastrzemski is a dude that's left-handed and he can't hit lefties. He struggles. All 8 of his home runs this year against right-handed pitching. His numbers across the board are better against right-handed pitching. So if you add Yastrzemski and now you put him in a role that he's better suited for, and God knows if he can stay healthy, that's always been his problem. You put him and Lane Thomas together, you play to their strengths, hopefully you bolster what you get offensively out of left field. And you might make another move before it's all said and done. You still got time. It ain't over.
Well, it looks like the Braves and others. I just read, and again, this is now more speculative than reporting, and it's not me doing it. I'm just here trying to gather as much info as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It seems as if the Braves made a heavy inquiry with the Rangers to try and get Jacob deGrom. deGrom has a full no trade and apparently wants to stay in Dallas.
Yeah. How about that?
So he doesn't want to get traded. I think it must be that he and the family like Dallas, and he doesn't want to leave Dallas. I don't necessarily blame you.
Good pitcher's park now, the way that new ballpark is a.
Well, it may just be a
good
quality of life
park.
thing too, man. Who knows? I don't know, but if you're nice and settled, because the Rangers aren't going anywhere. But again, everybody's still in it a little bit in the AL. Sometimes it feels like.
Well, that's probably it. Really, look, the Rangers. Everybody's taking turns taking the lead in the AL West, and nobody can hold it, and everybody goes into crapper. And guess who's back now, playing really well? Who's a factor in the AL West?
Yeah,
the team we thought was dead, the Astros.
Right.
So deGrom this year. Not as good. Last year was phenomenal. This year he's been good. He's 38. Let's see on that contract where he's at.
So it may not even. I don't. And there's no reporting on what the Braves may have offered Texas or anything like that. It was really more a matter of does the player. Because with a no trade, you got to find out first off. Does the guy want to move?
deGrom's got 2 years left on his deal for $37 million a season. He's 38 years old, but the thing is, there's not as much wear and tear on the tires because he's been hurt, right? So, again, for a 39, 40-year-old seasons, you're paying a ton, but if you could have got him.
Did you say he's making 37 per or 37 total?
37 per.
Oh, geez.
Oh, Bud, he made $40 million for 2 years in 24, 25, 38 last year. He was excellent last year. Yeah. But again, he's going to be 40 by the end of the contract. So to me, here's the feeling to me was Texas would listen, but they knew deGrom had a no trade.
Yeah.
And deGrom is going to stay, which again, to each his own. But at least I give the Braves credit for taking at least a peek at that and see where deGrom's headspace was.
Right.
Because deGrom's still like a 3.56 ERA guy, still striking people out. You add him in with Sale.
Well, anyway, not happening.
Not happening.
And now the Braves will not be. And there again, I don't think the Mets would have done this anyway. But Clay Holmes has, within the last 15 minutes or so, been traded to the Cubs.
Oh.
So Clay Holmes has been maybe one of the only bright spots.
Another guy, if you can keep him upright. Remember, he broke his leg earlier this year or whatever?
Well, it says here, Jeff Passan reporting the deal is pending medical review. And it's for a song. Infielder Jefferson Rojas will go to New York. So the Mets are just.
Well, here's the problem with the Mets. Clay Holmes, again, I believe he's in the walk year of his deal. But he's a guy that didn't make a starter till late in his career. He's been good, but if it's a walk year, which I think it is, I could be wrong, you're not getting a lot there. You gave away Freddie Peralta in the walk year of his deal. So the Mets are trying to make chicken salad out of whatever at the trade deadline because their season's been so miserable. For a little bit they were talking about Bo Bichette because Bichette has not hit for power at all. So there's a talk, can you get rid of Bichette in that contract? There was talk about Lindor. Can you move him in that contract? Man, that thing is a dumpster fire.
And
it bothers you a lot.
There's a video, There's a video that some Braves fan took of Alex Anthopoulos, like on the porch of his office on the phone, from a little bit ago, like from an hour ago, just pacing around. So, Alex is trying to do something, and apparently he had a sit down with a bunch of Braves guys talking about some of these things just a little while ago, but nothing yet other than those three that I gave you for the Braves. Adley Rutschman was traded by Baltimore to Boston. I know, Terry, you were talking about just maybe where that goes for Baltimore. That's a pretty big deal, though, at this point in time.
As I looked it up, and I've been digging into the prospects that the Orioles got, they got two high-level pitching prospects. They got three of the top 5 prospects in the Red Sox system. Two of these guys have been in the top 100. One dude threw at LSU, the other guy from Oklahoma. both high velocity guys looked at as, possibly anywhere from number 3 starters to higher, depending on development. They also got this young 19-year-old outfielder with a lot of tools. A lot of people think the Orioles did really well in this deal, but I think it was best described by ESPN. It was Dave Schoenfeld. If you just go by what the Orioles got for a former All-Star who's been hurt a ton the last 2 years, who's got 1 year left of control, it's a really good deal.
Right.
But if you look at what it signals the Orioles failed in the Adley Rutschman era.
Yeah, and that's. I think that's why I was telling you earlier. I think that's what's probably going to hurt O's fans.
Well, O's fans, you remember 3 years ago you won 100 games.
Yeah.
And everybody thought, okay, here come the Orioles with all this young talent, and it hasn't worked. It's gone backwards. In the face of that, just got traded to the Boston Red Sox.
We'll keep you updated if anything pops in the next little bit. So definitely, especially Braves fans, keeping an eye on that or anything else major. I think the biggest names have probably already. Of course, Skubal was the biggest name, and that happened over the weekend. But should anything else happen with the Atlanta Braves in the next 49 minutes before we get off the air, we'll let you know. Continuing our integrated media headlines of the day, Southern California and Notre Dame will start playing college football again. A 4-game series has been agreed to, starting in 2030. By the way, the only reason this happened is because Indiana got out of its deal with Notre Dame. And I'm going to read you real quick. And look, I know Indiana won the national championship. And we picked on Indiana for getting out of the Virginia non-con. This year, North Texas, Howard, and Western Kentucky. Next year, Kennesaw State, Indiana State, and Massachusetts. 28, Austin Peay, Eastern Michigan, and Miami of Ohio. 2029, Ball State, Eastern Illinois, Western Kentucky again. And 2030, only 2 have been announced by IU, Indiana State and Delaware. That's the Indiana non-con that Kurt Cignetti is signing up for. No Notre Dame, which is just a wonderful in-state matchup.
Yeah, it would have been great.
And again, Virginia, nice cross-conference matchup. And look, if Indiana is who Indiana is, then you should beat Virginia.
Every time.
But instead, so, that's not even, that's like a whole cake, man. It's not even cupcakes.
No. I mean, that's
birthday cake. That's just big,
gigantic little Debbie cakes.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Remember, here's what Cignetti's seeing. And I blame, again, the system.
Yeah, it's the system.
Because the system is not rewarding you for playing tough teams. It's rewarding you for W's. Cignetti's like, screw this. We'll play. We'll eat a ton of give those Hostess Twinkies. We'll eat a bunch of Hostess Twinkies. Then if we navigate the Big Ten, because the Big Ten's top heavy.
Yeah.
So now Indiana's probably going to play 2 games, 3 tops a year. That if they can, go 2-1,
they're fine.
They're going to be in the playoffs. So
I blame the system. No, I agree. But I'd like to see. A team that's on the rise play some good games.
God, the Notre Dame thing is natural now that Indiana's good.
Yeah.
That would have been a fun game
right
to
when
watch.
you get good, then you cancel it. And
again, for us fans, that would have been a hell of a game.
Yeah.
But Cignetti's saying, what's better? College football playoff games.
Right.
And until they ding me for this, I'm going to play a bunch of cupcakes.
Here's hoping, and this is not exclusive to Indiana, but here's hoping they start dinging soon.
No,
or at least that the Big Ten comes back around to mandating a Power 4 non-con game. But at this point, they have not. Speaking of the Braves, by the way, they did sweep the Nationals in a 4-game set. That doesn't happen too often. Atlanta's up 8 on Philadelphia. They are off tonight. But again, we'll keep you updated on what's going on with the trade deadline now just minutes away from closing for the 2026 season. Come back on the other side with the Gamecock Notebook. More from what Coach Beamer had to say looking ahead to the start of camp on Friday. It's the postgame show. Still got a long way to go, kids, until the hot weather is out of the Midlands of South Carolina. And that means that you still have a long time to make sure you stay cool. AAA Heating and Air is ready to be part of that process with you. If you haven't been as comfortable this summer as you think you should be, 803-677-1500. Let them find out why. Maybe your system's low on coolant. Maybe you got a few hiccups along the way that need to be checked out. One of their great techs can get in, check it out for you, see what's up. Or maybe you know that your system is keeping you cool, but is also keeping your wallet empty. Well, get a new, efficient system from AAA. Stay just as comfortable and spend less money. Plus, you get a $1,500 system buyback rebate and a 15-year parts and labor guarantee. So a quick repair, a brand new system, anything in between, plus whole home generators and so much more. 803-677-1500. Do what I've done. Work with the great people at AAA Heating and Air. It is indeed Gamecock Notebook time. Before we get into that, Gamecock Club of Lexington County, along with 107.5 The Game, announcing our Summer Golf Classic, Friday, August the 28th at Charwood.
Makes it sound fancy, doesn't it? We call it a classic.
Yeah, it does, man. I mean, if you were, instead of having people sign up, if you, like, invited people, then you'd have, like, the invitational.
Gold invitation.
Yeah.
A VIP lounge.
Sure. Well, see, no, again, when you say it that way, it doesn't sound like, a place. It sounds like you're going to the club.
We're going to the club, VIP lounge.
And that's not what we're.
See that room back there?
I don't think that's what rocking the guys are.
Rocking the guys are.
It's a club.
It's a club.
But it's not that kind of.
Not that club.
Not that club.
Hey, Gold, it's invitation only to our VIP area near the pool.
Just like when you talked about those guys from the 70s earlier, and you used a term that I don't want to use again, even though it's perfectly clean.
Yeah, I can't believe you weren't down with the wife swap. I mean, Fritz Peterson stayed with his swappee for 50 years. The other guy lasted 50 minutes.
Well, I mean, good for them. Either way, if they're happy, that's
Hey,
great.
you think I
I think it was just more of the terminology used. But you chose it. That's fine. And I know that's what it was. I know it's technically correct. Where were we? The Games Summer Golf Classic, August 28th, with the Lexington County Gamecock Club. We'll have our onion sausage breakfast and some other great food and prizes and golf gun. Terry hurting people, shooting
I
them
love that golf gun.
right in the
man.
chest.
That golf gun's fantastic.
I still haven't shot it. Golf gun proceeds will help Camp Discovery, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, that's for a great cause. They do some really nice work taking kids who typically can't get out in nature and science and all that stuff and kind of give them
I love it.
a taste of it. So they do, and honestly, they're not some big, gigantic nonprofit. They need everything they can get.
No, I
so
get
we'd
it,
love
man.
to help them out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Registration details forthcoming.
Yes,
Stay tuned.
on the way. Working on
Summer Golf Classic.
it. Classic.
Need to get shirts printed that say that.
We should.
That probably costs money.
No, then we can't do it. It costs money. No,
I'm pulling
ain't
for you,
about
man.
that.
I'm pulling for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's go back to our Gamecock list. Shane Beamer the other day. Speaking of golf, how about number 4 real quick? This was a good one. I forget who asked the question. I apologize. I wish I could remember. And maybe because Shane's good about addressing reporters as they ask questions. But got a Lenora Sellers question, and in it was Lenora's ability out on the links.
I don't want to trash Lenoris. I don't think he is. Brady Hunt told me over 4th of July he posted 2 rounds in the 70s at the Greenbrier. So if you're doing that, you're pretty dang good in my opinion. So Lenoris may be too. I know he's really working at it. I just was told he's playing this weekend. Golf, he loves it and he's passionate about it. I don't know who the best is. George Wynn, Wheezy may have a better idea, but we do have a golf simulator now in our football facility. I'm not sure if we put it in for the coaches or the players, but the players do have it, and they've been able to work on their golf game a little bit more just to have fun and keep them around the building. Lenoris has definitely gotten better as a golfer. There's no question about it. And I think there's correlation. I mean, I think you see a lot of these, great quarterbacks and kickers that are golfers that are really good players are really good golfers. And I think there's correlation. Obviously the skill set and the motion, there's a lot of similarities, but certainly the mental aspect of the game, I think there's a lot that you can learn from the game of golf that helps you on the football field for sure.
It is sometimes quite amazing how guys like that do pick it up. We interviewed Spencer Rattler, Terry. I think it was Nike Day. I think you were off that day, but we had Spencer Rattler on talking about his camp, but he had been playing some golf. Anyway, Spencer said that his handicap is now like a 5.
Yeah, that's like stupid.
I was like, come on, man. I was hoping I think I said something like, just tell me it's like a 10 or a 12 even. He's like, yeah, no, it's like a 5. And you got Lenora shooting shooting in the 70s.
How about that?
70s. You're good at that point, man. Then you're just tweaking. Then it's just shots, and then it's making a few putts here and there. That's what that's about. So
You got the hard part out of the way.
yeah, but good stuff. So I wanted to correlate that in with a little bit of golf. In the meantime, cut number 3 on that list, please, sir. Here is Shane Beamer as camp is just days away now, kids. What is he still looking for when it comes to August prep?
Yeah, there's a lot when you go through all the different positions. I mean, I think the first thing for us is, we're coming out of the summer where you've done everything in the weight room, and then you get on the field and you're actually practicing football. It's different. And how our guys, I know they're going to be in great shape, but just acclimating to a football practice and how they handle physical demands of that. We've got some guys that I'm excited to see early that weren't here for spring practice, whether it be from transfer portal guys that we added or high school recruits that didn't sign with us but weren't here in spring practice. Eager to see them. Really pleased with the summers all those new guys have had, but looking forward to seeing that early on. And then really just, Jack, all the competitive battles we have at every position and what that receiver room is going to look like and who kind of separates himself. The depth at the safety position. Peyton Williams has played a lot of snaps for us. After that, we don't have a lot of guys at safety that have played a lot of snaps. So there's different battles and question marks that we have at every single position, but really just a great level of excitement about getting out on the field and getting to work next week.
Looking at a lot of positions, too, tons of bodies, and you can carry more scholarship players now, and I think that's an added benefit to some of the changes that have come to college sports in the last couple of years. Instead of 85 scholarships, you can go up to 105. You don't have as many preferred walk-ons and things like that anymore, Terry, but, for schools to be able to add that many more scholarship players, the good news, you create a lot more competition. The bad news is that, some of those guys just aren't going to see the field, but like you and I were talking a couple of days ago, you look at the bodies, because I think defensive back, whether it's safeties or corners, and you've got some guys, with Swain and Collier and Kilgore and a few others that you like a lot, and Williams. But there's not a ton behind them in terms of experience. There's a lot of depth. But there is a difference, obviously, in experience and depth. When you have experience depth, you feel great. But when you don't match that experience level with your depth level, then camp becomes a time where coaches, listen, they can get giddy over a lot of things.
Sure.
But Shane's told us before, he loves the competition. That's what I think he thrives on, that as much as anything else when it comes to some of these position battles. And so, especially when you look at the defensive backfield. But I think when you look at the offensive backfield, you're going to have competition.
You have competition everywhere.
Receiver, you're going to have competition.
Think about it. Running back, receiver, offensive line still has maybe a battle there.
There's some guys, there's a couple, I think, yeah.
Still a little battle.
And if there are guys that are banged up, then you're certainly battling for, say, spots 6 and 7.
Tight end room has got battling going on. The edge opposite of Dylan Stewart.
I was going to say, I mean, really, other than look, I think we just named the DBs that are going to play.
Linebacker's the one place there's no battles.
Right, I think they're set.
They are set.
And Lenoris is set.
And the quarterback is set. Besides
how about the battle behind Lenoris? That's always
that's going to be a fun battle to watch.
Yeah.
Christian Clark, the transfer from Texas, Matt Fuller, Jawarren Howell's in there. Our guy from Colorado who's still hanging around. We totally forget about him all the time. There's a lot of competition in that room, and we'll see where it goes. But, and then wide receiver, okay, we feel like besides Harbor, Jaden Sellers seemed to kind of separate himself in the slot at the end of last year.
I like Murph.
Mazio Bennett, they say, is kind of looking like he's rebounding.
Yeah.
Donovan Murph, to me, is very interesting. We forget something. A dude should have been in high school last year.
Right.
And he's got a lot of ability, a lot of talent. Could he pop? Then the transfers with Nitro Tuggle, with DJ Black. I mean, this room is going to be a fight.
Nitro Tuggle, we talked with Mike Furry about him the other day, and like I said, that's a movie character name if there's ever been one.
He should be part of the Avengers.
Yeah, but or a wrestler, or again, as I said, if it was a college football movie, then that's what you name him. Instead, he's real. And coming out of the Big Ten at a program that struggled a little bit, so he wants a new opportunity. But he's pretty 6'1", 195, so he's got some size on him.
Is when you throw it to him, he's got to catch. He had like 7 or 8 drops last year at Purdue. He's got to catch the football. Everything else about him is great. He's just got to, when you throw it to it, don't drop it, bro. Yeah. Catch that thing. Make some plays. But he's got a lot of ability.
We'll come back. Again, just a couple of quick updates. Again, for those who missed it last hour on the Protect College Sports Act, that'll be part of the drive around the SEC now that the SEC has signed off on it. And I want to get to one that I know Terry is wanting you to hear from Kendall Briles about how he looks at offensive play calling. You're listening to the Postgame Show.
Already just one accident now. The DeQuincy Newman Freeway at I-20 accident is still being cleared up. Besides that, just our typical road construction and malfunction junction slowdowns. Don't forget, it's coming. A little bit over a month away. 33 days to kickoff. South Carolina and Kent State. Everything gets started Gamecocks game day early Saturday morning in the 7 o'clock hour. We'll get you started and hand it off to the network, and then it's kickoff, 12:45. South Carolina hosting Kent State. More of the postgame show, Drive Around the SEC.
All right, welcome back in. Drive Around the SEC coming up, including a little bit more on the PCSA. Got some new information on potential of a vote. Again, this is coming out in the last few minutes. As I promised you, though, nothing major here, so I don't want anybody to get excited. But there have been a couple of very small Braves trades. Atlanta is sending backup catcher Joey Bart to the White Sox for right-handed pitcher Duncan Davitt. That's not the big deal. What that signals is that Sean Murphy is ready to come off the IL.
There you go.
So
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. There's another really good bat, and you can spell Drake Baldwin just a little bit more and let him DH a little bit. I think that, you might see Murphy DH a little.
Sure, especially on the way back.
Yeah. But that's good. And also the Braves, let me get back to the other one. Because Lane Thomas is coming in as really the number one, platoon guy and bench guy for the outfield, Eli White, who's had a nice time in Atlanta.
He's been solid.
Is going to Boston for a right-handed pitcher named Tyler Uberstein. Don't know much about Tyler's numbers.
Tyler Uberstein.
I don't know. So, but that's more of a space clearing move. So there you go. Nothing else major.
Little stuff.
And I have seen some Braves fans, they're not like yelling at Mark Bowman or David O'Brien, but like, why aren't we getting rid of Ha-Seong Kim? Because nobody wants him.
It takes two to tango.
I can't believe how bad a season he's having.
It's been awful.
I mean, I really wasn't expecting a lot, and it's just been dreadful. It's just been absolutely dreadful.
I mean, it's past mind-blowing. You would figure, standing in a batter's box in the major leagues, you should accidentally, as a major league hitter, be able to walk into hitting 200.
I was going to say, at least like 180 and get walked a few times or, get plunked.
It has been.
So that your OBP could be 250.
And it's such a mental game. It's got to be driving him in.
Yeah, and I know he's banged up. I mean, look, he busted up his finger pretty good. And so to hold a bat and to play shortstop, I get it. But I mean, like, how much pain are you really in, dude? Because you missed. That happened in, January?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And he didn't even get activated until May?
Yeah, it's been a lost season.
How bad was it? I playing hurt and playing injured, and clearly he's trying to play injured. Mm-hmm. So, but man.
Well, it gets to that point, too, when he comes to the plate with 2 outs, all the Braves grab their gloves and go stand at the edge of the dugout.
But it's been bad. I don't think they'll move him in the offseason.
No, the first chance they get.
But still 22 minutes left in the before the trade deadline. So maybe the Braves still working on something.
Still got time.
And I'm going to go out on a limb, Terry Ford, and say that Alex Anthopoulos wasn't really involved too much other than like, all right, let's move them. Y'all go get it done. I'm trying to work on the big stuff.
Yeah, well, the big stuff needs to be done.
So
if he can get something accomplished, that would be very nice.
Pulling for him. Can I say that?
I didn't hear a word.
Pulling for him.
Didn't hear a word.
Let's get to a little bit more from the Protect College Sports Act. Some new information just coming in here recently. The latest version of the bill, perhaps the final Senate version of the bill, will be distributed to senators tonight. According to Ross Dellinger, final details are still being worked through. That probably has people in the offices in Chicago and Birmingham. That's Big Ten and SEC going, all right, let me see this thing. Y'all told me one thing. And nothing's final yet. Again, even if they pass it in the Senate this week,
Right.
it's still got to go to the House. Now, that being said, it seems unlikely that this is going to get through the Senate this week.
Right.
The more that gets put out there, the more you realize that this is just unlikely. John Thune, the majority leader, basically saying that he is concerned that trying to get it up to a point for cloture, which would mean a vote that is filibuster proof. Again, you still would have to vote on it. Even that discussion, ironically, could be filibustered.
Right.
So they're trying. I think what you're doing now is you're whipping up support behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you're going to try to, you're going to vote up or down this week on the United States Attorney General.
Right.
All right.
That's kind of important.
On sanctions on Russia and on a government spending bill before you hit your recess on Friday.
No offense.
So it's starting to look like this will be voted on in September if they can get it done.
If they can get it done.
They might. They still might this week. Still might this week.
Yeah, and we just keep saying, not to be a broken record, this thing has the highway is still so long to get this thing done.
Well, and like I think you asked a good question earlier in the show, about an hour or so ago. If the senators that wrote this bill had gone to the SEC and Big Ten first, in collaboration with others, where would we be? In direct relation to what they actually did, which was write a bill that was limiting in its scope for the SEC and Big Ten. And again, I think punitive is too strong a word for me to use because they're not being punished for what they've done. They're just being there was a stop sign there. And the SEC and Big Ten were like, why are you putting up a stop sign? Like, we didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Just because we're bigger and more popular than you, like it doesn't mean we're doing it wrong.
And it just,
and that's what. And then so it took a month to get out of that mess, and that's why it's been taking so long.
It's just that's the thing. Why with me with politics, just me personally with politics, why I don't just get in. I used to love it when I was younger, very interested in following it. I was an election dork. I loved elections, but the way it just seems to evolve into, like, again, you have a guy with a lot of money, Cody Campbell, who is trying to bully everybody into what he wants and not what's best for, just the basic things of college athletics. Forget what the SEC cares about themselves. Everybody cares about themselves. But everybody agreed on a few things. Mm-hmm. And instead of just concentrating on that, this dude had to slip in.
Which is what Tommy Tuberville's been saying. And I know a lot of people are looking at Senator Tuberville going, maybe Tommy was right, because he just wanted a bill that dealt with eligibility and some NIL things.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's leave the rest of it for another bill. Don't try to cram all of this into one. Mm-hmm. But I still say, whether you agree with Senator Tuberville or not, that, again, to your question and to your point, you started down this path intentionally excluding the SEC and the Big Ten. Basically say, we're not going to let them have a say. They've had enough of a say.
Right.
And again, that was Cody Campbell, whether he wants to admit it or not.
No,
and again, the two things he most wanted, he's now not going to get.
Right. He wanted to get a collective TV deal with everybody, not getting that. He wanted to put strict parameters rather, on super leagues and building this and basically stopping the SEC and Big Ten from gobbling up any more schools. I thought the one provision was unless it was Texas Tech. No, but it's all insane. This guy, if this thing doesn't work, and I don't think it will, you can look at him, because he started this thing down a bad road in the beginning.
And if I'm the SEC and the Big Ten, but since this is dry around the SEC, but I mean, why wouldn't you be hacked off? Again, if you're running your business the right way, under the rules, and they are. Again, you can think of whatever you want. I mean, and I've seen people, now that the SEC can't pay people under the table. Yeah, because the SEC was the only one doing that.
Yeah, nobody but the SEC. God knows no one else in college.
Was Oklahoma in the SEC in the 80s?
How about the Southwestern Conference?
Was SMU?
Conference was so dirty.
Yeah.
They had to shut the conference down.
I mean, Clemson got popped twice in the 80s. Were they in the SEC back then?
Yeah.
Anyway, and I did, so I'm not trying to be whataboutism, but let's, with the tattoo thing even, which was stupid, but
Dumb.
is Ohio State in the SEC?
I just look.
Michigan buying people hamburgers and using spies, is that
Right.
SEC?
Yeah, well,
No?
Michigan was only in the SEC when they cheated.
Right.
But when they weren't cheating, they
So
were.
if I'm the SEC, I am hacked off.
Well, you should be, and so should the Big Ten.
And the Big Ten should be hacked off.
I mean, here's a guy that was trying to stop you from running your business because of his own personal
Yeah.
feelings about what he wanted to do for
They're
his
too
alma
big.
mater.
What does that mean?
Yeah. But again, like we've talked about, the SEC would have turned around the next day after Cody Campbell blathered, "Hey, Cody, you want to be in the SEC?"
Yeah, you have to sign a 10-year. You have to actually. We're gonna suture your mouth shut for 10 years.
Oh, he'd do it. The other people would do it for him.
All right, we'll come back on the other side. We do have Jay versus the internet, and I do want to get you that cut from Kendall Briles that Terry wants to play because I don't want to leave that out. You're listening to the postgame show. All right, welcome back in. Final few minutes of the post-game show here on this Monday. Jay and Terry with you. Do want to get one more Gamecock football note in, and then we'll talk about that, and then we'll do a little Jay versus the internet. You want to set it up? Because this is your baby here. You want to?
Yeah, I just wanted to, and I think we played it last week, but if not, I think it's a very interesting cut from Kendall Briles, where Briles is basically talking about, because we asked about scripted plays. It feels like everybody has a set amount of plays they script. Some people, like the NFL, some teams will script up 20 plays. In college, it feels like it's around 10 or 15, somewhere in that neighborhood. I was surprised Kendall Briles told us how few plays he scripts, and here's Briles discussing the whole play scripting issue. I swear it'll start. Okay.
So I've started scripting about the first 6 plays, and I've done that about 3 years now, and maybe 4. But I think it's good. It allows, as a coaching staff, to target guys, get certain formational looks that you want to see. That way, you know how they're going to play them. So it allows you to do some things and target some guys as you want to get the ball. And then after that, you know, you're playing football. And obviously you got your D&D calls that are going to be critical that go on within a drive. And then, you know, the rest of the time you're rolling. And if you see things, then, you know, you hope that, you know, if it's something that you haven't just, you know, worked a ton and you're able to call it, our guys have recall and they're able to go do it.
Again, I think what I like about the whole thing he says is, and some things obviously are down in distance. D&D is a down in distance, but it's just the idea that
It's not Dungeons and Dragons,
which would be even funnier. Everybody running with their Dungeons and Dragons gear on, but just the idea that, you know, I got 6 plays. I'm gonna run 6. I got formation looks. I want to see what they do defensively. I got a couple matchups I want to exploit. But after 6 plays, dude, we're riffing. I thought it was I have not heard an OC say they script that few plays.
right?
I found that very interesting that he only has 6 for specific purposes.
And I would like to know, and he probably doesn't want to answer this question, much like he did want to answer your question about that wow moment. What if play 4 hits for something, you know, big, and then you realize, man, play 5's not going to work. You know, or I got a chance, you know, like, so where, you know, how much flexibility does he give himself within what's scripted? Maybe believing that by and large, you'd like to think that, say, you know, in an ideal world, right? 6 plays, your first 6 plays on offense will get you to the opponent's 30. You see what I mean? That's
right.
Like in a, you know what I mean? In a typical type of environment. But what if you know, I mean, and obviously the answer would be, well, you know, if the first 4 plays got you to the 1 yard line,
where the script is in the toilet, right?
Then at
or
that
we'll
point,
go back
you know,
to the last 2 in the next
you know, then
possession.
Or hey, Lenore's just sneaking over the top.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting because typically you have the script for best plays you like for your team, plays you think you'll be able to be successful with after watching their film, and then like Kendall said, we want to see if there's certain matchups that we can exploit. We want to run some, you know, certain either motions or formations to see how they handle it, blah, blah, blah.
Or what if, like, you know, hey, look, that DB's shoe is untied on 3 straight plays. I don't care what the script says.
Just run the play.
I'm going,
Did you see the script? Ready? The a DB trips over another DB and they both fall down. Yeah. And 2 guys are wide open and you run the ball up the middle.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, no.
But at some point.
Kendall running on the field. Screw the script.
Yeah.
No. But it would be fun.
So
it would be fun.
I'm again excited, anxious, curious, whatever words to see what this offense is going to look like.
I am very stoked to watch this offense. I just think you've got a high level offensive coordinator with experience and a track record.
And I would be with any quarterback, but I'm
and that's what I'm putting him with.
Even further, you know, enhanced and excited by Lenore.
With the physical potential of the dual threat weapon that could be Lenore Sellers. Those 2 things together.
With how much football Lenoris knows. I mean, he's so smart. And just, you know, how much of what Kendall wants to do that Lenoris already knows because of Dowell and can take in.
And you look at what Kendall Browse did with KJ Jefferson, and this is no offense to KJ Jefferson. Linares is another level of ceiling and potential than KJ Jefferson. So if you can get Linares in that lane that KJ Jefferson was in at Arkansas, both throwing it and running it, with Linares' next level potential that the NFL looks at as a possible first-round pick, you might have yourself a hell of an exciting offense. But it all goes back to what position, Jay?
Offensive line.
Just like always, Jay.
All right, real quick, what do you got for me?
Couple real quick ones. Oh, wow, real quick ones.
Yep.
Phillies and Nats tonight in Philadelphia. You
Go
got
Nats.
Nola going against Alvarez.
Go Nats.
Okay, you got...
Don't even care. Go Nats. You know what? Nats are going to win because the Nats have lost 4 in a row to the Braves.
Yankees hosting the Cardinals tonight. Our boy Cam, whose name we got to say slowly, against McCreevy for the Cardinals. The game's at Yankee Stadium.
Cardinals win on the road.
Ooh, look at you. Hey, nice work. We'll do it again
Do it
tomorrow.
again tomorrow. See you.
All righty, our final check on the traffic. Still trying to clear up that accident to Quincy Newman Parkway at I-20. Besides that, we have construction, like always. Broad River Road between I-26 and Dutch Fork Road. I-20 between Sunset and Bush River Road, and I-26 between Bush River and Old Sandy Run Road. and Malfunction Junction slow as always. Again, it's coming. The Game Summer Golf Classic at Charwood, presented by us and our co-host, Lexington County Gamecock Club. It's Friday, August 28th, 9:30 start. Libations Bar from Saki's Wine and Spirits, also onion sausage breakfast, and the golf guns back.